Hello guys and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about communication, and more specifically we're going to discuss how can we improve how we communicate with our spouses and our partners. And we know that communication in a relationship is extremely important. It is crucial that we develop effective communication skills so that we can end up with strong and healthy marriages and relationships. In my experience, I have witnessed that many relationships end up in divorce or in separation. It's not necessarily because the partners do not love each other. It's not necessarily because they are not equally yoked or compatible with each other. And many a times it's because that we have not taken the time to really learn, the skills, effective communication skills. And when we don't communicate correctly, when we don't use those effective communication skills, it is inevitable that our relationships will end in separation. So let's talk about it a little bit, okay? The first skills that I would like to discuss today is the skill of active listening. Active listening involves, when you really taking the time to really hear what the other partner is telling you, is trying to tell you. And we know that the goal of any type of communication is really resolution. We want to get to a resolution of some sort, whatever the conflict is, and it may not even be a conflict. Anytime we engage in communication with somebody, there is a goal to that communication. And the goal is always, to come to an understanding, to come to a mutual comprehension about whatever the particular subject is. So when we take the time to really listen to the other person viewpoint, and we really can take the time to really understand what they're trying to tell us, so that when we respond, we can respond appropriately. Because a lot of time, we don't listen. There is a proverb that says that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and there's a reason for that. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can learn to listen more, and we can learn to listen to understand, with the goal of reaching a common goal. So first point, guys, active listening. Learn to implement those active listening goals with the goal of understanding and to bring resolution to whatever the subject is that we're trying to communicate about. All right. The second point that I would like to discuss is never dismiss your partner. Do not dismiss your partner's feeling. Do not dismiss your partner's words, the things that they are trying to communicate with you. Do not be dismissive, okay? You can always disagree. Disagreement is healthy. It is healthy to disagree, because each of us, we have our own viewpoints. We have our own understanding of the world of the particular issue. But it is very, very important that you never, ever dismiss the other person. Because when you dismiss somebody, it shows disrespect. It shows, that you disregard the person's dignity. And it's the same way when somebody dismisses your feelings, they dismiss your words, they dismiss you as a person, as an individual, you're going to feel a certain way. And many times, the result is anger, the result is resentment, and the result, is that you do not want to even listen to what the other person is telling you. So do not be dismissive. Always take into consideration what the other person's viewpoints, their feelings, and of course, what they're trying to relay to you. All right. The third point that I would like to touch on is, make sure our communications are honest and open. All right. Honest and open communication is key to a healthy and productive and loving relationship. In other words, do not lie. No lying, because one lie in a relationship can destroy the relationship forever. All right. And I talked about that before, trust. Trust in a relationship is so important, because the minute that trust is broken, it's very hard to get it back. And if ever, you may never get that trust back. So your words, the words that come out of your mouth, has to be truth. And many times the truth can hurt. So it is important also that you learn how to communicate the truth in a way that does not destroy, your partner. All right. try to communicate, but it is important. It's better that, the truth that comes out of your mouth hurts. Sometimes it does hurt. However, that whatever comes out of your mouth has to be the truth. And this is the basis of any effective and productive relationship. All right. The other thing is that do not make the relationship about you. It's not just about me, 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 me. It's not all about what I want, what I need, what I feel, what I understand, but also take the other partner in consideration. And we know that, when you try to communicate with somebody, if the person make the discussion all about them, you're going to feel a certain way about it. You're not going to want to listen to them. You're not going to want to really engage with that person. So try in your part, not to make the whole discussion or whatever it is, whatever the subject is or the issue that we're communicating about, it's not just about you. You have to take your partner's feelings, you have to take their viewpoint into consideration and make sure that you are taking that into consideration as well. All right. The next thing that I would like to discuss about is compromise. Compromise, guys. In any healthy relationship, we have to compromise. We have to get to a point where we can move forward. Because any relationship that doesn't have compromise, everybody stand in their own needs, where we stand on our own point. It's either my way or the highway. It's either my viewpoint is the right way. This type of relationships does not move forward. There is no way that you can move forward. You cannot have conflict resolution. You cannot have resolution of any sort. So in order to have resolution, you have to be able to give a little and you have to be able to take a little. And we have to get to a point where we reach, a common ground. Okay, so you have to compromise. At some point, we do have to compromise. And it's not compromise in one way. Everybody, both partners have to be willing to compromise so that we can move forward in a productive manner. All right, the next point that I would like to discuss, make sure that whenever you communicate with your partner, with your spouse, make sure that you take a loving, a positive approach. Remember, your partner or your spouse is not the enemy. We are on the same team. Whenever we look at a basketball team or a football team, there's going to be disagreements. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay to have your own feelings about a particular issue. And it is okay to communicate those, in a respectful and a truthful way. However, remember that, we are in the same team and we are in this to win. We are not in this to destroy each other. We are not in this to compete with each other, but we are in this so that we can move together in love, so that we can have a peaceful and loving relationship going forward. So, guys, sometimes it's not only what you say, but it's also how you say it. I remember my mother used to always say that, there's a proverb that says that it's the tone that make the music, or c'est ton qui fait chanson in Creole. So remember the tone that you take, the approach that you take, your stance, your body language, all that play a role of whether you are a loving, you are respectful to your partner's feelings and to your partner's words, the way they're trying to communicate with you. So remember, guys, effective communication is so, so important. So make sure that, whenever we're communicating with each other, that we understand that we are on the same team. We have a goal. Our goal is to have a productive marriage or relationship. Our goal is to have a loving relationship. Our goal is to really, come to a resolution to whatever the issue is that we're trying to communicate with each other. So we can try to implement those approaches, those methods, those tactics in our communication. and I'm sure that we can